Welcome to Wisdom and Wealth, a channel dedicated to providing insights and strategies for building a more fulfilling and prosperous life, especially for those of us navigating the second half of our journey. We understand that life throws curveballs, and our goal is to equip you with the tools to handle them with grace and wisdom. In this video, we'll be exploring 10 life-changing Buddhist principles that can help you cultivate inner peace and resilience. These are time-tested truths that have resonated for centuries, and they offer profound guidance for navigating the complexities of modern life. So, if you're ready to rise above the noise and create a life of lasting calm, let's begin. And while you're getting ready, take a moment to click that like button, or better yet, subscribe and hit the bell to see all new videos. Let's start with a fundamental concept: feelings are like guests, they come and go. Picture a life where no insult, no challenge, and no chaos can truly shake your inner peace. A life where your inner calm remains steadfast, regardless of the external storms raging around you. Powerful, right? If there's one thing to take away from this video, let it be this: that inner peace is the foundation for a better life. As Buddha wisely said, peace comes from within, don't look for it outside. We'll delve into how to cultivate this inner sanctuary, your personal haven of emotional strength and calm. If you're ready to rise above life's inevitable challenges and step confidently into a life you truly deserve, then stick around. Together, we'll explore these 10 transformative principles, one by one. And if you find these teachings helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel. Now, let's dive into the first principle: insults and offense. Imagine yourself walking down a peaceful path when suddenly someone tosses a stone into a still pond. The surface ripples momentarily, but soon it settles back to its natural calm. Now, consider how often life throws its own stones, harsh words, criticisms, or insults. How frequently do you allow those ripples to linger, holding on to them longer than necessary? We replay the situation in our minds, letting them disturb our sense of balance and well-being. Buddhist wisdom reveals a powerful truth: insults only affect us if we allow them to. The words of others, no matter how hurtful, hold no real power unless we choose to absorb them. As Buddha wisely said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So, why is letting go so difficult? Why do we replay the sting of an insult, allowing it to disturb our peace? The issue lies in attachment, our attachment to approval, validation, or even a sense of fairness. We take someone else's negativity and make it our own, like picking up a heavy stone and carrying it far beyond its initial impact. Think about it: you're walking around lugging around the stone that has nothing to do with your path. Now, bring this to modern life. Perhaps a coworker criticizes your work, or a friend makes a careless comment that cuts deeper than intended. Your first reaction might be anger, frustration, or self-doubt. But what if you paused and saw their negativity for what it truly is: a reflection of their inner struggles, not a reflection of your value? Emotional resilience begins with a change in perspective. So before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel. When someone throws an insult, ask yourself, do I have to catch it? Just as you wouldn't drink poison someone offers you, you don't have to absorb their negativity. Let it pass like ripples on the pond, knowing they'll fade if you don't hold on to them. Here's a simple practice: when faced with criticism, take a moment to pause and breathe. Picture the insult as a cloud drifting across the sky. Notice it, but let it pass without holding on to it. This small act of mindfulness creates space between you and the negativity, giving you the power to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. The key lesson is this: your peace is your strength. Don't give it away so easily. By choosing not to let insults disturb you, you reclaim your inner power. The ripples may form, but the pond will always settle back to stillness. When you realize that others' negativity is their burden, not yours, you'll see how little power insults truly have. Life's disturbances will no longer disrupt your calm, and you'll take the first step toward remaining steady and unaffected. Now let's move on to principle number 2: be strict with yourself, tolerant of others. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. You've mapped out your path, packed your gear, and set your pace. Along the way, you notice other climbers, some struggling, some moving faster, and some who seem to wander off course entirely. It's easy to feel frustrated, maybe even judgmental. But what if you shifted your focus? What if you concentrated on your own climb while extending patience and understanding to others on their journeys? This is the essence of the Buddhist principle: be strict with yourself, tolerant of others. It's a delicate balance, holding yourself to high standards while showing compassion for the imperfections in others. The Buddha reminded us, you yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. But that love must also extend outward. Often, we fall into extremes. We might judge ourselves harshly, chasing perfection while expecting the same of others. Or, we let our own discipline slide and justify it by pointing to others' shortcomings. Both paths lead to frustration and strained relationships. The key lies in this balance, self-accountability tempered with empathy. Let's bring this wisdom into today's world. Imagine you've decided to commit to a healthier lifestyle. You wake up early, exercise, and make thoughtful food choices. Meanwhile, a close friend repeatedly skips workouts and indulges in fast food. It's tempting to criticize them or feel superior in your discipline. But the truth is, everyone's mountain is different. Your journey is yours to own, and theirs is theirs to navigate. Being strict with yourself doesn't mean being harsh, it means staying committed to your principles, even when it's inconvenient. It's waking up for that morning run, even when it's cold, or choosing kindness when anger feels easier. But tolerance for others means recognizing that not everyone is on the same chapter of their story. Here's a practice to find that balance. The next time you notice someone struggling or acting in a way that challenges your patience, pause and remind yourself that they're climbing their own mountain. Reflect on the challenges you faced and extend the understanding you'd wish for yourself. This principle not only strengthens your self-discipline but also fosters deeper connections with others. When you stop expecting perfection from the world, you create space for authenticity and growth, both in yourself and in those around you. The lesson is clear: hold yourself to your highest standards, but let others unfold in their own time. Just as the mountain doesn't judge the climbers, neither should you. Now, moving on to the third principle: transform everyone into a teacher. Think about a moment when someone truly tested your patience. Maybe it was a colleague who dismissed your ideas, a stranger who cut you off in traffic, or a loved one who said something that stung. At that moment, it's easy to feel frustration or even anger. But what if, instead of reacting, you paused and asked yourself, what is this moment trying to teach me? This is the profound wisdom behind the principle: transform everyone into a teacher. Whether pleasant or challenging, every interaction holds a lesson if we're willing to see it. The Buddha beautifully encapsulated this idea: when watching after yourself, you watch after others. When watching after others, you watch after yourself. In learning from others, we grow ourselves. Life is full of lessons disguised as inconveniences. The friend who tests your patience teaches you tolerance. The coworker who competes with you reveals the importance of self-assurance. Even those who hurt you can teach forgiveness, resilience, or the boundaries you need to protect your peace. When you adopt this perspective, the world becomes your classroom, and every person, no matter how difficult, becomes a teacher. Consider this modern example. Imagine working on a group project where one person constantly misses deadlines. Frustration rises, and you might be tempted to confront them with anger or take on their responsibilities yourself. But what if, instead, you viewed this challenge as an opportunity to practice assertive communication or strengthen your problem-solving skills? Suddenly, the situation transforms from a source of stress into a chance for growth. This mindset shift doesn't mean accepting bad behavior or allowing yourself to be mistreated. It's about reframing the narrative. But before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel. Instead of labeling someone as a problem, see them as a mirror reflecting something you can learn. Perhaps they show you your own need for patience, or they push you to develop clearer boundaries. To embrace this principle, try this practice. The next time someone frustrates you, take a moment to breathe deeply and ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Write it down if you need to. This act of reflection helps shift your perspective from reaction to curiosity. This approach not only reduces stress but also empowers you. When you transform every experience into a lesson, you take control of your growth. Challenges become stepping stones, and even life's most difficult interactions lose their power to derail your peace. The lesson here is simple yet transformative. Every person you encounter has something to teach you, if you're willing to listen. By embracing this truth, you can navigate life with curiosity, resilience, and an unshakable sense of calm. And please share this video with a friend. Our next principle is a powerful one: no one can hurt you. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm, the wind howling and rain pouring. Yet, inside your home, you're warm, dry, and untouched. This is what inner peace feels like, a sanctuary no storm can penetrate. But how often do we leave that sanctuary unguarded, letting the words and actions of others batter us like an open window in a tempest? Buddhism teaches us a powerful truth: no one can hurt you unless you allow them to. The Buddha's words remind us of this self-reliance: no one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. In the same way, no one has the power to harm our inner peace unless we hand them the key. Yet, it's so easy to let someone else's actions take hold of us. A harsh comment at work, an argument with a loved one, or even a stranger's rude remark can spiral into hours or days of hurt. Why? Because we react. We take their storm and invite it inside, letting it unsettle our core. Consider this: if someone throws a stone into a river, does the river stop flowing? No, it ripples momentarily but keeps moving forward. Life, too, is full of stones: criticism, anger, rejection. But we decide whether to let them sink us or flow around them. Think about a time when someone's words cut deep. Perhaps a colleague undermined you, or a friend betrayed your trust. The pain felt immediate and personal. But the truth is, their actions only had power because of your reaction. What if you could pause, breathe, and remind yourself that their behavior says more about them than it does about you? This is where mindfulness becomes your greatest ally. Mindfulness is the practice of being present, aware of your thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. It creates a space between the stimulus and your response, giving you the power to choose how to act. Start small. The next time you feel hurt by someone's words or actions, pause and ask yourself, does this define me or them? Recognize the emotion, but don't cling to it. Let it pass like clouds drifting across the sky. The lesson is simple yet profound: your peace is yours to protect. Build a resilient inner core by refusing to let other storms shake you. Their words are like the wind, fleeting and powerless unless you give them weight. Now let's move on to the next principle: turn envy into emulation. Have you ever felt a pang of envy scrolling through social media, watching someone achieve something you've dreamed of? Maybe it was their career success, a loving relationship, or a lifestyle that seemed just out of reach. Envy is an emotion most of us know too well. It creeps in, making us feel small, unworthy, or stuck. But what if that same envy could become your greatest teacher, a force for growth rather than comparison? Buddhism offers a powerful perspective: do not be jealous of others' good qualities, adopt them yourself. This wisdom invites us to shift our mindset from jealousy to inspiration. Instead of seeing other successes as a spotlight on what we lack, we can view them as blueprints for what's possible. Envy often stems from self-doubt. We see someone thriving and think, why not me? But here's the secret: that spark of envy is a signal. It's showing you something you desire, something that matters deeply to you. The key is to use it wisely, not as a weapon against yourself, but as fuel for self-improvement. Transforming envy into action. Remember, before we continue, take a moment to subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel. Here are practical steps to emulate. 1. Identify the trigger. 2. Write it down. 3. Break it into steps. The lesson is clear: envy is not the enemy, it's a compass. It points toward areas of your life where you're ready to grow. By channeling that energy into emulation, you shift from comparison to empowerment, from stagnation to progress. Remember, other successes are not barriers but beacons, illuminating the path ahead. When you adopt their strengths instead of envying them, you transform not just your perspective but your potential. Envy fades, and in its place, you find inspiration, determination, and growth. We are now on to principle number 6, the power of acceptance. Imagine you're holding a rope in a tug-of-war with life itself. On the other end, life pulls with all its might, unexpected changes, challenges, and situations you wish were different. The harder you pull back, the more exhausted and frustrated you become. But what if you simply let go of the rope? This is the essence of the power of acceptance. In Buddhist philosophy, acceptance isn't about resignation or giving up, it's about embracing life as it is, without judgment or resistance. As the Buddha teaches, accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. Acceptance is not passive, it's freeing. It allows us to face reality with clarity, conserve our energy, and respond with wisdom. Resisting reality amplifies suffering. We often resist what we don't like. When things go wrong, we fight against reality, thinking, this isn't fair, it shouldn't be this way. Imagine standing in the rain, angry at the sky for getting you wet. Your anger doesn't stop the rain, it only leaves you drenched and upset. Acceptance, on the other hand, is like opening an umbrella. It doesn't stop the storm, but it shields you from unnecessary discomfort, allowing you to move forward. Consider a relatable example: you lose a job or an opportunity you were counting on. The natural reaction is to resist, dwelling on how unfair or painful it feels. But that resistance keeps you stuck. Instead, acceptance allows you to pause, acknowledge the loss, and focus on what comes next. It's the first step in turning a setback into a comeback. Acceptance doesn't mean liking or approving of every situation, it means acknowledging the truth of the moment without wasting energy on what-ifs or should-haves. When you accept reality, you free yourself to act with intention rather than reacting from a place of frustration or denial. And to see all new videos and more of these examples, be sure to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth channel. Each and every day, 1. Notice when you feel resistance in your daily life. 2. Pause and take 3 deep breaths. And 3. Silently say to yourself, this is how it is right now. Feel the weight of resistance lift as you acknowledge the situation without judgment. Then ask yourself, what is the most meaningful action I can take next? Acceptance is not about giving up control, it's about recognizing where your control truly lies. You may not control external events, but you can always control your response, and in that response lies your power. The lesson is simple yet transformative: stop resisting reality. Life will bring its storms, its detours, its unexpected turns. But when you embrace the present moment as it is, you conserve your energy for what truly matters: growing, adapting, and moving forward with grace. Remember, the rope of resistance only ties you to suffering. Let go of the tug-of-war, and you'll discover the peace that comes with acceptance, the peace that no storm can take away. And be sure to share this video with a friend. This brings us to number 7, live in harmony with nature. Have you ever watched the sunrise and felt an inexplicable sense of calm, or listened to the rustle of leaves and found clarity in your thoughts? Nature has a way of grounding us, reminding us of a truth we often overlook: life moves in cycles, and so do we. In Buddhist philosophy, living in harmony with nature means aligning ourselves with its rhythms, accepting its changes, and drawing inspiration from its balance. As the Buddha said, just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life. Nature doesn't resist change, it embraces it, flowing effortlessly through cycles of birth, growth, decay, and renewal. Yet, in modern life, we often resist this natural flow. We cling to what we want to keep and push away what we wish to avoid. We chase endless productivity, ignoring the need for rest and renewal. But when we pause and observe nature, it teaches us that change is not our enemy, it is our teacher. Think of a tree in autumn shedding its leaves. It doesn't resist the process or mourn the loss, it lets go, trusting that spring will bring new growth. In the same way, we must learn to release what no longer serves us, trusting that life's cycles will bring new opportunities and renewal. Consider this: when was the last time you stepped away from the noise of daily life and immersed yourself in nature? A walk in the park, sitting by a river, or gazing at the stars can remind us of the vastness of life and our connection to it. Nature grounds us in the present moment and reminds us of life's impermanence, not as something to fear but as something to embrace. To live in harmony with nature, begin by spending intentional time in it. Take a walk without distractions, observing the details, the patterns of the clouds, the sound of the wind, the texture of the earth beneath your feet. Reflect on how effortlessly nature adapts to change. Its resilience becomes a lesson for your own life. Also remember, subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel for all of our latest teachings. Another practice is gratitude. Each day, find one thing in nature to appreciate: a flower blooming, the warmth of the sun, or even the rain that nurtures the earth. Gratitude shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance, helping you see life as a cycle of giving and receiving. The lesson is profound yet simple: nature thrives not by resisting change but by embracing it. Align your life with this rhythm, and you'll find a sense of balance that no external chaos can disrupt. Remember, nature doesn't hurry, yet everything is accomplished. When you live in harmony with its flow, you too can find peace, resilience, and the strength to grow through life's seasons. Our penultimate principle, number 8, is practice ethical living. Imagine a lake so still and clear that it reflects everything around it perfectly. Now imagine throwing a single pebble into that lake. The ripples spread far and wide, touching every corner of the water. This is how our actions work in the world, small choices creating far-reaching impact. In Buddhism, ethical living is the foundation of a peaceful life. The Buddha reminds us, what you think, you become. Our thoughts shape our actions, and our actions ripple out to shape the world. Living with integrity, honesty, and compassion creates harmony not only for ourselves but also for those around us. Yet, in today's fast-paced and often self-centered world, ethical living can feel like a challenge. We're constantly pulled in different directions: pressures at work, conflicts in relationships, or the temptation to take shortcuts. But here's the truth: it is precisely in these moments of chaos that ethical living becomes our anchor, grounding us in values that bring clarity and peace. Consider a situation where you're faced with a difficult choice, perhaps at work, where a dishonest decision might offer short-term gains. The temptation is strong. But what happens if you choose the path of integrity instead? While it might seem harder at first, living ethically fosters trust, strengthens your character, and ensures peace of mind. Ethical living isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. When your actions match your values, you feel a sense of inner peace that no external success can replicate. The opposite is also true: when you act against your values, guilt and anxiety take root, disrupting your emotional balance. So, how can you practice ethical living in modern life? Start by reflecting on your core values. What truly matters to you? Honesty, kindness, fairness? Use these as your compass in decision-making. When faced with a tough choice, pause and ask yourself, does this action reflect the person I want to be? Always remember to subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel. Ethical living isn't just about avoiding harm, it's about actively doing good. Look for small ways to create positivity in the lives of others. A kind word, a helping hand, or even a moment of patience can ripple outward, inspiring others to do the same. The lesson is clear: ethical living is not just a moral obligation, it's a path to resilience and freedom. When you act with integrity, you create a stable foundation that no external chaos can shake. You become like the still lake, reflecting the beauty of life and spreading ripples of positivity in every direction. Remember, what you think, you become. Choose thoughts of kindness, honesty, and compassion. Let those thoughts guide your actions, and you'll find that living ethically isn't just about staying unaffected by life, it's about thriving in it. Finally, we arrive at number 9, cultivate gratitude. Imagine waking up to a sunny morning. You step outside, feeling the warmth of the sun on your face, hearing the birds chirp, and smelling the fresh scent of nature. But instead of noticing these gifts, your mind races to a long to-do list, past regrets, or future worries. How often do we overlook the beauty of the present because we're focused on what's missing? Buddhist philosophy teaches us to shift our attention from what we lack to what we have. As the Buddha said, let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, we learned a little. Gratitude is not just a fleeting emotion, it's a practice, a lens through which we view the world. It has the power to transform our outlook, build joy, and fortify us against negativity. In modern life, gratitude often gets overshadowed by comparison. We see what others have and measure it against our own lives, focusing on the gaps rather than the gifts. But gratitude reminds us that true wealth lies not in possessions but in perspective. It shifts our attention from scarcity to abundance. When you focus on blessings, your mind becomes more attuned to positivity, making it easier to navigate difficulties. Remember to subscribe to the Wisdom and Wealth channel. When the storm broke, the farmer chose gratitude, not for the loss, but for what endured. This mindset gave him strength to rebuild and find joy even in hardship. And gratitude is contagious. When you share it, you inspire others to do the same. Focus on blessings rather than lacks. Gratitude doesn't erase life's challenges, but it changes how you face them. By cultivating this practice, you build an inner joy that no external negativity can touch. Remember, gratitude is not just an emotion, it's a choice, and in choosing gratitude, you choose peace, resilience, and a life untouched by the weight of what you think is missing. And now, finally, number 10, trust the process and let go. Imagine you're holding a tight grip on a rope, pulling with all your might, desperate to control the outcome. Your muscles strain, your mind races, and you feel the weight of the world pulling you down. But the more you pull, the more exhausted you become. What if, instead of pulling, you simply let go? This is the essence of Buddhist wisdom: trust the process and let go. The Buddha teaches us that attachment is the root of suffering. When we cling to specific outcomes or rigidly try to control every aspect of our lives, we only invite stress, anxiety, and disappointment. Life, with all its unpredictability, cannot be controlled by sheer willpower alone. The more we try to control, the more we struggle. True peace comes from learning to release, to trust, and to flow with life as it is. Think about a river flowing to the sea. It doesn't question its path, nor does it resist the bends, obstacles, or changes in its course. It trusts that the journey itself is enough. In the same way, when we let go of our attachment to outcomes, we open ourselves to the richness of life's unfolding. We stop fighting against the current and begin to move with it. Consider the story of a young monk who was tasked with planting trees on the temple grounds. Eager to see the trees grow tall and strong, he spent days nurturing them. Yet, one by one, the trees withered and died. Confused and disheartened, he asked his master for guidance. The master smiled and said, "You've tried to control the process. Let nature take its course." Though initially reluctant, the monk surrendered. Over time, he witnessed new shoots springing up, stronger than ever before. By letting go of his need to control, he allowed nature to reveal its wisdom. In modern life, we often struggle with uncertainty. We want to know the future and control the outcome of every situation, whether in our careers, relationships, or personal growth. But uncertainty is not the enemy, it's a vital part of our journey. When we trust that things will unfold as they should, we free ourselves from the burden of constant worry. Subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth to keep learning and moving forward. To apply this principle in daily life, start by accepting that life is unpredictable. Instead of obsessing over every detail, focus on the present moment and the steps you can take today. Embrace the process of growth rather than fixating on a specific destination. Let go of rigid expectations and remain open to life's surprises. Another key practice is mindfulness. When you notice yourself becoming attached to a particular outcome, pause and breathe. Remind yourself that the root of suffering is attachment and that peace lies in releasing that grip. The lesson is clear: when we let go of our need to control and trust the process, we experience freedom. Life becomes less of a struggle and more of a flow, guiding us to where we need to be. In the dance of uncertainty, we find true peace. Remember, trusting the process and letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the need for control and embracing the journey with openness and faith. Let go and watch as life unfolds in beautiful, unexpected ways. And for all of our faithful viewers, here is a bonus principle: non-attachment in relationships. Think about a flower in a garden. It blossoms freely without being forced to grow in a specific direction or to become something it is not. The beauty of the flower lies in its authenticity, its natural existence in the present moment. Relationships, too, flourish when nurtured by acceptance rather than controlled by expectations. In Buddhism, this is known as non-attachment. It is the key to building healthy, thriving connections with others. Non-attachment in relationships doesn't mean detachment or withdrawing from those we care about. Rather, it's about letting go of the need to control or change others. The Buddhist teachings remind us that attachment to outcomes, whether they're expecting someone to behave a certain way, meet specific needs, or act according to our desires, creates suffering. When we let go of these expectations, we free both ourselves and others to be who we truly are without the weight of judgment or pressure. Think about a time when you tried to control a relationship, perhaps by wanting someone to love you in a specific way or expecting a friend to always meet your needs. The result is often frustration, resentment, or disappointment. But when you release those expectations and allow the other person to show up as they are, something beautiful happens: the relationship transforms. It becomes one of mutual respect, understanding, and acceptance. Take, for example, the story of a young woman who constantly tried to change her partner, hoping he would become more like the person she envisioned. Frustrated by his habits, interests, and way of thinking, she sought guidance from a wise elder. She was encouraged to practice non-attachment and to accept him for who he truly was, not who she wanted him to be. Slowly, she realized that her love for him deepened, not because he changed but because she learned to see and appreciate him as he was. The relationship became more peaceful and authentic. We remind you to subscribe to Wisdom and Wealth to keep up with our teachings. In our modern lives, this principle is more relevant than ever. We live in a world of social media, where relationships are often influenced by external standards or unrealistic expectations. We may feel pressure to make our relationships look perfect or to fit them into an idealized mold. But relationships thrive not through control but through freedom, respect, and genuine connection. By practicing non-attachment, we create space for love, authenticity, and mutual growth to flourish. True connection comes from emotional independence, where we accept and appreciate others for who they are without trying to control or change them. Practice releasing the need for others to meet your expectations. Instead, appreciate them for their uniqueness and allow space for growth and authenticity. Non-attachment in relationships allows love to flourish naturally. It leads to deeper, more meaningful connections rooted in acceptance and emotional freedom. When you let go of control, you invite peace into your relationships and, in turn, into your life. Bonus principle number 2, silence as a shield. Imagine standing at the edge of a storm, the wind howls, rain lashes against your skin, and the chaos of the world seems to overwhelm you. In that moment, what if the best response wasn't to fight the storm but to step back, close your eyes, and find stillness? In Buddhist tradition, silence is more than just an absence of sound. it's a powerful shield, a sanctuary in the midst of chaos. It's the space that allows us to pause, reflect, and respond wisely rather than react impulsively. Silence as a shield means creating moments of stillness to protect your inner peace, especially when life feels overwhelming. You must protect your inner peace from noise, social media, work demands, relationships, and the endless stream of thoughts in our minds. But amidst this noise, silence provides clarity. It offers us a chance to step away from the emotional turbulence of the moment and gain perspective. The Buddha often spoke about the importance of mindfulness being fully present in the moment without judgment. In times of stress or conflict, this principle is particularly relevant. When we react impulsively, our emotions take over, often leading to regretful actions. But when we allow ourselves a moment of silence before responding, we create space for wisdom to emerge. In this quiet pause, we can reflect on our true intentions and choose our response with clarity and compassion. Join Wisdom and Wealth for more teachings on this and similar topics by subscribing. Consider the story of a young man who worked in a high-stress job. One day a colleague made a harsh comment during a meeting, triggering an immediate surge of anger in him. His first instinct was to retaliate and escalate the confrontation. But then he remembered the power of silence. Instead of responding right away, he took a deep breath, counted to 10, and simply remained silent. In those few seconds of stillness, his anger subsided, and he was able to address the situation calmly and thoughtfully. Not only did the conflict de-escalate, but the respect between him and his colleague deepened. In our own lives, silence can be a refuge when stress or conflict arises. It's not about withdrawing from the world but rather about taking a step back to avoid reacting from a place of heightened emotion, whether it's in a repeated argument, a difficult conversation, or a moment of self-doubt. Silence offers us the opportunity to gather our thoughts and respond with intention. Practice space for silence. Each day only a few minutes. The more you practice silence, the easier it becomes to use it as a tool for navigating stress and conflict. Silence is a shield, a powerful force that protects your peace. The lessons in this bonus principle can change your life. Make silence your refuge. And that is it. Wow, we covered a lot of information. In the whirlwind of life, where challenges and negativity often seek to uproot our peace, the wisdom of these Buddhist principles offers a refuge, a way to stay steady amidst the chaos. Each teaching, whether about letting go of anger or practicing gratitude, reminds us that true strength comes from within. The storms of insults, envy, or inner struggles only hold power if we let them. By learning to control our reactions and building resilience, we not only protect our peace but also turn our lives into sources of harmony and strength. These principles aren't just abstract ideas, they're a call to action, a guide to reclaiming the calm and happiness often lost to modern stress and distractions. Picture a life where criticism doesn't shake you, comparison doesn't weigh you down, and you're deeply present in the moment. This isn't just a dream, it's achievable. Start with one step, one lesson, and see how your perspective transforms. Now is the time to move forward. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video to spread wisdom. Subscribe to Wisdom Journey for more inspiring Buddhist teachings to help you lead a peaceful and fulfilling life. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell to see all new content. Thank you for watching Wisdom and Wealth, and we wish you the best of luck on your journey.